Look at you. Look at your butt. Look at your butt. Oh my goodness. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. How's it going? Yes, it's going. Okay, welcome to Houston. We Have a Problem. It's Monday night. I broke my promise and I did not do a show over the weekend. I have been clearing blackberries. I am absolutely just covered in wounds from blackberries. My goal is to murder them all by July 4th. Every last blackberry plant on this property must die in time for the 4th of July. So I'll just be dying a death of 1,000 cuts for the next month or so. Anyway, so Thursday was a bust. There was no stalking horse. They extended the date until this Thursday, which is the 8th, right? 8th? Look at the calendar. Yes, this Thursday, the 8th. And then, so stalking horse bid in by the 8th, which means the other bidders have to have their bids in by the 14th. And finally, they'd be doing an auction, if necessary, at 10 a.m. on the 16th, which, I mean, we gotta make it snappy. No more extending because my options expire on the 16th. So let's make it for this Friday if we can. Oh no, next Friday. So waiting on that. GME has their earnings on the 7th. So the estimates are quite terrible from the analysts. So it might be pretty easy for them to beat their estimates. And if that happens, might get another green GME day. If they generate a profit, it's definitely going to be going green. I don't know if the first quarter would have enough interesting things for them to generate a profit in the first quarter. No interesting games really came out in the first quarter. Zelda and came out second quarter. Harry Potter was fourth quarter. So I'm just kind of waiting on that. But you know what? It's dark outside, so blah. Okay, and I'm going to turn this off. Turn that off. The daytime's off. It's all off. Off, 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 off. The dog did not distract me this time. I am going to do it today. So, what do you got for me? Lost waves. What is a woman? Anyone who identifies as one. BBBYQ brand, I've been losing my mind lately. Blame women. Okay. Did you hear about the alien whistleblower? Someone just sent me a thing about it, that there's some military colonel or something who's like, the U.S. government has got secret alien planes. And I've not really had a chance to, I literally read the headline about 30 seconds before it live. So you guys can fill me in. I mean, I assume military guy either worked with those things, or he claims to, or he knows someone who knows someone knows someone. I mean, if there are extraterrestrial ships there flying around and we get one, it would be a pretty big deal. Now, trying to keep that secret is it's gonna be pretty hard. I mean, let's just look at that Air National Guard guy, the Nazi one, who was dumping confidential material into a Minecraft server. There's a lot of flaws and a lot of security out there. And not everything can be kept airtight because there's always some jerkwad, the FBI counterintel dude who's on the payroll of the Kremlin. He's outing a bunch of spies all over the world. And, there's people that love to spill beans. There's people that can't help it. There's people that get paid to do it. So I don't know. I mean, could be aliens, could be not. Lost waves. Do you think Acme is involved in new Apple glasses? How about GME and G-America? I bet Apple is the one involved in Apple glasses. They seem to like to in-house a lot of their stuff. By that, I mean, come out with something that someone else did like 2 years ago. like other people that have augmented reality glasses that came out a couple years ago, and Apple's not the first, but they're going to pretend like they are. That's what they like to do. They're expensive as hell. I don't know anyone who's going to spend $3,000 for some ski goggles. I mean, there'll be a couple of nerds out there who'll do it, but like, my car is not worth $3,000. Scott Pullen, Houston, GameStop looking to beat estimates for earnings per share. Your thoughts? I think the estimates are minus 13 cents, negative 13 cents a share. I don't think it's going to be very hard for them to beat that because they've done the major restructuring of the logistics system and their warehouses and getting product. Now, like the next cost is going to be kind of modernizing their shops, and they aren't there yet. But I think they can beat it. I don't know if it's going to be positive. If it's positive, holy smokes, that stock's going to fly. Because the worst quarter of the year, they go positive on their earnings. So, So, Wednesday is earnings, right? The 7th? Maybe I'll gamble on some calls Wednesday afternoon for Friday, do some weeklies, and just see where it goes. I mean, last time I followed the trend, which was every earnings, they get hammered down no matter if the news is good or not. And, yeah. See where my heart feels on Wednesday. Paraturn, Houston, you see the not a halt that happened on GME showed no trades or index for 5 minutes. Month-long green earnings coming in ICANN on the warpath MOAS this year. I hope so. I mean, man, it can't happen unless my Bed Bath & Beyond lotto tickets pay off because I want my 1,000 GME shares before then. Just so close. I want it. So it can't happen yet. It's got to hold its horses until I'm ready. That's when it can finally rip. But I saw a thing this morning talking about the no halt where like there's no trade for 5 minutes. That was weird. I don't know what type of glitches these guys are running, but there's no way that stock didn't have any orders going in for 5 minutes. I mean, if there's no buy orders coming in, no sell orders coming in, then why didn't anyone's freakishly high limit orders get triggered, right? Like, why not? Bex, happy birthday. If BBYQ is split off and sold, and the proceeds used to pay off debt, what's to stop BBBY from dumping what's left and splitting that money to shareholders? No more ticker. It's possible that they could split off BBYQ and pay off their debt. There was negotiations about, what is it, like Jackie and Kale or something like that. What's the name of that company? I don't know. It's some brand that like Gap bought out of bankruptcy and then sold to Walmart, and I don't know who owns it now. But like that baby market is a big market. Why? Because expecting mothers, they do this all day long. Well, that'd be interesting. Oh, I'll take that one. Oh, that's really nice. Okay, I'll put that on the list. And what BBYQ has is one hell of a baby registry. And I think all the other companies that want BBYQ's baby registry system because it's just the best out of all of them. And because that baby registry system's so good, they do like $1 billion a year in sales just because of that baby registry. That expectant mothers put it on their baby shower thing and their grandparents and whatever. They're just filling out orders all day long on that. And all these companies want that baby registry really, 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 really bad. So that's what's valuable about Bed Bath & Beyond is BBYQ. That arm of theirs, it makes profit. Not very many stores. It's like 100 stores or something, and it makes profit at all of them. Versus the 1,000 Bed Bath & Beyonds that's losing money. So that's what Ryan Cohen wants. So if that's what's going to get split off, that's what the bidding war is going to be about. So I'm just glad there's lots of people who want it, because as long as the debt is taken care of, any money after that goes to paying out the shares. And I want that money. Okay. Kelly Reed. Wonder if this coming recession will be called to full employment recession. Huh. Who knows? Find out next time when the Fed fucks around. Find out. Yeah, it's weird. Like, they're expecting a little more downturn on the jobs numbers, and we added 300 and something thousand jobs, but wages didn't go up with that addition. And so one of the theories is that people got laid off from good paying jobs and then went out and got terrible jobs in the service sector. So they might have been an architect, got laid off, and now they're waiting tables, that type of thing. They might have been a school teacher, got laid off, and now they're like laying floors somewhere. So it's full employment, but the high paying jobs are vanishing and being replaced. Those people are moving into less well paying jobs, or getting multiple jobs. So you can be like, oh, well, all these roles are being filled, but half the employees are working 2 or more jobs at the same time. So is that really full employment, or is that like too much employment? Whereas if you just pay a living wage of those jobs, then, people only need one job and they could chill out and they could spend their money, and then, the economy would do better. Paratarian, Houston. Thoughts on exoplanet JG1214b? James Webb Space Telescope found water vapor-rich exoplanet closely rotating a red dwarf star considered a super-Earth. Oh, well, let's see what this one's all about. Bing, bing, bing. Chrome. Oh, Chrome. Gotta go there. Whoops, that's on the wrong screen. Drag you over there. Click on that. Okay. Let's boom, boom. There we go. That's what we want. Okay. Just pop right in the old bar there. Sometimes exoplanet orbits star GJ1214. It was discovered December 2009. Its parent star is 48 light years away. Let's see what it's all about. Oh, it's JG. That's GJ. You mean do GJ? And these wrote JG. I think it's GJ. Okay. Size comparison. GJ. Oh, that's really big. That would not be able to generate large life. It would get squished. So does it say? Estimate the G-force. Surface gravity 10. Okay. Oh no, only 1.09 G? Wait a minute. What? No, that's for how big that thing is. That is not very high gravity at all. It's just slightly more than ours. It must not be very dense then. Huh, because like Neptune would crush us. So very amount of dimming. Seeing planet cross planet star view for Earth. Blah, blah, blah. Planet's mass and radius, its density can be calculated. The comparison with theoretical models, density in turn provides limited but highly useful information about the composition structure of the planet. Relative size. It is feasible to perform spectroscopic observations during planetary transits by comparing the observed spectrum before and during transit. Spectrum of the planetary atmosphere can be inferred. In December 2010, a study was published showing the spectrum to be largely featureless over the wavelength range of 71,000 nanometers because a thick, cloud-free, hydrogen-rich atmosphere would have produced detectable spectral features. Okay, so such atmosphere is ruled out. So it's not a gas giant. It's not a Saturn or a Jupiter. Clear signs observed of water vapor. Although no clear signs were observed of water vapor or any other molecule, the author said, I believe the planet may have an atmosphere composed mainly of water vapor. Another possibility is there may be a thick layer of high clouds which absorbs the starlight. Because of the estimated old age of the planetary system, the calculated hydrodynamic escape loss of gases that tends to deplete an atmosphere of high molecular weight constituents, rate of 900 tons per second. Scientists conclude that there has been significant atmospheric loss during the lifetime of the planet, and any current atmosphere cannot be primordial. The loss of primordial atmosphere was indirectly confirmed in 2020 as no helium was detected, so it's lost all its helium. Helium is detected in the atmosphere of GG by 2022. Oh, so they found helium. Okay, so it took a while. All right. It's not super dense, which makes you think it's not a rocky planet. So it's probably the atmosphere is so thick that there's a lot of pressure down below. I would expect higher density if it was a rocky planet. There could be some microbes in there. I don't know. I do like this shirt. This is another birthday shirt from Mystery Michael. It's a good shirt. Look at this. It's got surfing. It's got Volkswagen Vans. The hippies and the surfers love it. Riding pipeline. Pipeline. It's a mighty fine shirt. Okay. Where were we? Paratarian. Case Chapman. Could RC buying Bed Bath & Beyond spark my ass? I know shorts would owe a payment in lieu, but would shares have to be recalled for one or both companies? I don't think recalls would have to happen. They would just say, we're offering this much for the company, for the assets. And if it's more than what is owed in debt, then that's cash that goes to the shareholders. If it's as much or less than what the outstanding debt is, and the debtors go, the debt holders go, all right, fine, whatever. Then they can sell the assets for pennies, and then the stock just withers and goes to zero and becomes worth nothing, and the shorts get out of it. But if you offer more than the 1.4 billion in debt, then there's going to be a payment in lieu for all of those naked shares they created and all those borrowed shares they created. So they're going to owe money. They're going to owe money. So someone please make a huge offer. Just make a huge offer so I can pay somebody to go blow out those blackberries so I don't do it anymore. That's all I ask. Please. Kelly Reed. Rosenberg has been vocal about U.S. recession concerns, saying an economic downturn has arrived, but nobody's noticed. Yeah. I mean, the real estate market alone is enough to point to that. Home prices are dropping in multiple markets across country. Commercial real estate's worthless. Hotels are now starting to go under. It's coming. People don't have discretionary income. And now you're going to have a quarter of the population losing another $400 to $1,000 a month in discretionary income to pay back student loans. And it's just going to be a 1-2 that's going to hit everybody all at once. And you're going to see vacations dry up, car purchases dry up. It's consumer debt go up. It's people have to put things on a credit card, hoping that there's a payday somewhere. The Biden admin should never have negotiated away the student debt thing. They should have just make it go in perpetuity. Be like, you know what? I can't cancel it, so we're just going to keep halting it. I don't know if you guys saw, there's a lawsuit about the $20,000 in forgiveness, $10,000 to $20,000 forgiveness that the state of Missouri is suing the government over. And it turns out they may not have legal standing because there is money that was owed to the company that's based in Missouri. That's why they're suing. And they're claiming, we're going to lose this much money every year if you forgive student loans. And it turns out that they've not even bothering to go after delinquent payers previously. And there's hundreds of millions of dollars in delinquent paying that they just haven't been bothered to do. So the defense has been able to show that A, they don't have standing. B, they actually don't care about this money because they never bothered to do anything about it in the first place. So it's pretty interesting. Well, if the Supreme Court rules in favor of Missouri on this, then this is truly a lost court. Kelly Reed, Dad, it's not much that nobody noticed, but it's more an issue that the upper crust are so far removed from the reality of life that they have an extremely difficult time seeing beyond their own bubbles. Well, duh. I mean, yeah, they make their bubbles and they have no idea. And then they surround themselves with yes men who then tell them everything they want to hear. And so that when it does like come slap down time, they do not see it coming. And they're just like, what? What do you mean I lost the vacation home? Yeah, it'll hit them real hard. Paratarian, Houston. What's your timetable on NoLabs being FDA approved and being a major profit? We looking at years length, long-term play here? Long-term for sure. When I had Ron on the show a couple months ago, I asked him about the timeline. He's like, not a clue. Supply chain is an issue. So they're trying to get their first model device ready to go. And that one that could be approved by the FDA they can do testing with. And he said just getting parts for it. It's proving really difficult. And that's just for one device. I'm sure if they could mass produce them, that would be a different thing that the manufacturers be like, okay, we're going to mass for 300 million of these things, then we can do that for you. But they just want one. And it's proving hard to get like these single components to build their apparatus. So I don't know if they've got a working one yet. I have no idea what the timescale is, but my guess is when they get a device built, there'll still be like 3 phases of testing after that. So they did their human trials, they did their trials to kind of dial in the accuracy. And now it's the crude device they have is as accurate as other FDA approved devices that are invasive. So which is cool. But they're trying to get it to a gold standard with their wearable device in years, 1-2 years, maybe. I don't know for sure. I'm sure when supply chain issues ease up, they'll go a lot faster. Kelly Riedel says the stock market is going to continue to climb in the immediate future as hedge funds, institutions, banks continue to pump collateral to unsustainable levels in order to maintain their shorts. Once the asset bubble bursts, the house of cards will come crashing down and catch the bull on the upper crust, unprepared, unaware. Then it's billionaires cry on TV time. So one of the problems is that the S&P 500 is that 27.7% of the weight of the S&P 500 is 5 tech stocks. So there's 495 other stocks in there that represent the other 70-something percent, 72.3%. But over a quarter of the S&P 500 is weighted with just 5 stocks. And those 5 stocks are so strong that they're keeping the S&P 500 from collapsing entirely. The NASDAQ 2000 was also something similar. That's like 5 stocks or like 80% of the NASDAQ 2000. So they're kind of juking the stats. Like the way the S&P 500 should be is each stock is 1/500th. And you just put 500 of those stocks in there, and you weight it that way. But they're not doing it that way anymore. They are putting their thumb on the scale, artificially inflating the S&P 500. So the SPY should be getting absolutely ravaged right now. But because Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, who else is in there? NVIDIA, and I can't remember. Oh, well, 5 of them. Since they're such strong players, the S&P can't go down because those stocks are so strong. So maybe it will take crashing a Microsoft or an Amazon to really bring the S&P 500 down. I don't know how else it would do it. Google, thank you. It's probably Google Alphabet, whatever. Thank you, Richard. That's probably who it is. Sad Bull Incorporated, Houston, happy Monday. Signed up for the CFA after debating on it for 6 months. Cost $600, but worth it. Thoughts on NoLabs? You mean certified financial advisor? Do it. Why not? Hey, be that financial advisor. Thoughts on NoLabs? Oh, I didn't do NoLabs. I just did NoLabs. It's gotta wait for Ron to make me a millionaire. So it's one of my long-term plays. That and GMGF are like my 2 long-terms. Oh, and the company that cannot be named. I guess those are my 3 long-term payoffs that I'm waiting on. Justin G sent a super chat to see if you see the news on Nova Kakova Dam. Getting blown up. Going escalation. I saw it just before I came on. I saw a video of just water rushing through the dam, the Dnipro River. Heck, man, they're threatening to do it, and they did it. So I think the Russians know that there's an offensive coming. The thing is that yeah, it's going to flood stuff downstream, but then the water's gone, and now he's made it easier to cross in a whole bunch of different spots because that entire reservoir now, well, get right across that sucker. Now you don't have to use boats. You can use the little bridges to do it. So I don't know if it's going to work in the Russians' favor for collapsing that dam or not. Maybe the immediate, might keep them a couple of days from crossing. But once that water's done passing through the dam, they're going to have a much easier time getting across. That was a long time no see. I know, it's been a few days. I'm sorry. BDB Brand, I'm reading chat and my brain refuses to make sense of any of it. Houston, do you think this year will be the hottest on record? El Nino is here and I already see a big shift in weather patterns. Apparently it's the hottest Siberia has ever been in June. This spring was the hottest spring that the Indian subcontinent ever had. Yeah, very good chance to be up there record-wise. Water temperatures are going through the roof. The entire Atlantic is above normal. So like right now, the Eastern Pacific, which is where El Nino begins, is warmer than normal. But if you look at the full like Topex Poseidon satellite image of the ocean temps, the Atlantic is just crazy warm. The whole Atlantic. So you may see some storm systems. I mean, Guam just got hit with a super typhoon 2 months ahead of when typhoon season begins. So if that is not an indicator that the oceans are warmer than they should be, then I don't know what is. Yeah, they shouldn't be getting typhoons until August, September, and they're getting it end of May, beginning of June. That's kind of like when the United States crossed a threshold. We used to have tornado season. There was a season when the way the winds and the storms would hit. You have this cold air that descends out of the Canadian Arctic, and it's warm air that rises up from the Gulf, and it hits and it makes these crazy storm systems, and tornadoes come spinning out certain times of the year. Now tornado season is just year round, and it's no longer just Tornado Alley, but they're getting stuff way down in Texas, way far east out in Ohio and Kentucky and Tennessee and Alabama and stuff where they weren't getting storms like that before. And that is a sign that there's too much energy in the atmosphere. So, Sad Boy Incorporated, Houston, thoughts on whether Mike Pence will win 2024 election? Like whoever promises to legalize weed federally with young people to vote. Thoughts? Mike Pence doesn't stand a chance in hell. If Pence wanted to stand a chance in hell, he would have to become Mad Mike Pence. He had to be go to the debates with Trump and be like, you son of a bitch, you tried to have me killed, and I'm not going to forget that. But instead he's going to be like, oh, sir, yeah, I defer to you. You're such a big alpha male. And Mike Pence doesn't stand a chance in hell. And he doesn't stand a chance in being the VP nominee in the Republican Party. So he's just a speed bump on the road to life. And that's all he's ever going to be at this point. Yeah, legalizing weed will definitely get the youth out to vote. Even get the old people out to vote too. They're sick of all this stuff. You'll get the evangelicals be like, we're upset, but they're going to vote for who they're going to vote for regardless. So you're not going to really pull. You're going to pull independents, that's for sure, because independents, even libertarians are just Republicans that like to do drugs. So you could even pull that vote. So, yeah, it was a good campaign promise. Better would be to cancel student debt, promise universal health care, improve our schools. Stuff like that. Build trains everywhere. I love trains. Scott Lumley, He joined. Can we get Rose to take a look at Sears Holding? We can ask her. I don't know if she owns any, but we can certainly ask her. Oh, I missed another super chat from Justin G. Oh, about the dam. Oh, crap. Oh, that was... how did I miss those super chats? How come they didn't pop up in my brains? I was maybe patting the dog butt and not seeing them. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to see those. But yeah, that dam is quite the escalation. The random lean towards closing off from all the info and enjoying some silence. Turning off that brain would be fantastic. Scott Pollen, by the way, floods? Floods? I don't know if you're talking about specific floods or just weather shift floods, but yeah, there'll be... The thing about warming is you put energy in the atmosphere, right? And more energy in the atmosphere means a higher evapotranspiration rate of water, surface water. And that surface water evaporates the atmosphere and creates really hefty clouds. And rather than getting like normal weather patterns, you get dry or absolutely soaked. And the storms have a lot more energy and they dump a lot more rain in a single burst. Like think about the floods that happened in Fort Lauderdale not too long ago. These were really localized storm systems. They weren't hurricanes. They weren't tropical storms. They were just normal storm weather patterns that dropped 20 inches of rain in a localized area in a 24-hour period. That's insane. That's the type of rainfall you expect from a healthy tropical storm or greater. Not an off-season thunderstorm that's just rolling through Florida and it's like, fuck you, Fort Lauderdale, you're going to be underwater. That's not how it's supposed to work. But when you got more energy atmosphere, you're going to get more water vapor, which means your storm clouds are going to be a lot beefier and they're going to drop a lot of water. So what ends up happening is you get these high pressure systems that are huge. And high pressure systems form because, as we talked about, warm air rises, right? When warm air rises, it's got to go somewhere. So it fans out, right? If it doesn't drop it all as rain in that location, it fans out until it cools and it descends down somewhere else. So it creates a huge high pressure system. And those high pressure systems will keep clouds away and it'll get dry and really, really hot because all the water vapor in the upper atmosphere, it's cold, condensed, it falls back down and it turns back into water vapor and it dries out and it gets really warm on its way down. So like when you look at here, we'll just bring up the Google Earth and I can show you. Google Earth. Come on. I think we're still looking at the Karch Bridge here. All right, let's look at a classic cycle. We go to Hawaii. You can go to lots of places, but so in Hawaii, the winds come from the northeast and they're trade winds. They blow all day long. And as they're blowing, the air hits the mountains and is forced up and over the mountains. And as it's forced up and over, it takes that water vapor, it rises it to a higher elevation where it cools, condenses, turns rain clouds, and it dumps a boatload of rain. And you can see like just how dark the forest is here on the side of Mauna Kea. This place gets like 400 inches of rain a year, right? It just rains and rains and rains because the winds are constantly pumping clouds into that chunk of the mountain, and it just dumps all its water here, goes over the top of the mountain, and as it descends on the other side, it dries out, and it gets really, really warm. So the temperature drops like 5 degrees for about every 1,000 feet you go up in elevation. But the air warms on the other side, on the leeward side, by 5.5 degrees for every 1,000 feet. So this side, even though it's the same sea level here, sea level there, this side's actually like 5 to 10 degrees warmer usually than this side of the island due to that orographic lift then descending and warming that air. And it happens all over the world. Same thing happens out in the deserts. So we can go up to my other hood up here in Washington, and we've got, Washington State, mountain range, rainforest galore all over the place, huge rainforests, all up these mountains. The winds come from the west, hit these mountains, air rises up, cools, dumps snow and rain, and then descends on the other side. As it descends on the other side, go from 14,000 feet down to 1,000 feet. It gets really warm and really, really dry. And so you you don't get very many clouds in here because the localized warming causes that high pressure to happen. And you can get places like California, which has the natural descending air from the tropics onto those 30-degree latitudes. And so it's hard for storm systems to get in there, especially during the summertime when it's all high pressure. And those high pressure systems will get larger and larger and larger and larger. So you get these larger regions of drought, American Southwest, and it kills off like everything in summer. So all the little plants dry out and die, and then fires rage through and rips out, trees and all these things. And then when that high pressure system weakens in like December, January, the storm systems that come in, they've got so much more energy and they drop so much more water and so much more intense. They hit this like burdened ground that can't absorb any of the rain because it's been so dry for 7 months that just washes off, and you get landslides and deluges and flash floods, and it's just nuts. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And we're seeing it happen here. We're seeing it happen in Spain. We're seeing it happen in Italy. We're seeing it happen in India. We're seeing it happen in Australia. Everywhere we go, the droughts are getting more severe and the rain season's more intense. And it's just going to strip the soil off of all these places. So that even if you do kind of average out, it's really, really hard for long-term plant life to find purchase. And it's just going to compound the issue. So we're just going to desertify so much more of the planet than we ever planned on. And it's going to suck. Like right now, I don't know if Chris Collins is in here, but they're in Peru. They're in Peru, Lima, right? So like Lima, down here. Like this part of Peru, the winds come from the east. So the rainforest is here. It's going to rain a bunch anyway because it's close to the equator, so you get lots of rain anyway. But then it hits the mountains and drops a just shitload of rain right at the edge of the mountains, and then dries out as it goes down the other side. So it's hot and dry. And there's towns in the Atacama Desert out here that haven't seen measurable rainfall in 400 years. Like there's churches built out of blocks of salt because it doesn't rain. So the salt is not going to go anywhere. But in Lima, where, they get an inch of rain a year, they've been getting hit with storm after storm after storm after storm. The weather patterns are completely changed. And so Chris writes me quite a bit asking about different hillsides in Lima. It's kind of similar to the sediment hills you find in Southern California that when it rains, it just washes those mansions into the water. Lima is very similar. Like all of this is cliff line along here. You can see it. And this stuff has not seen significant rainfall for thousands of years. And it's getting hit with storm after storm right now when, it used to be a storm every 500 years. And they're getting hit with 10 of them in a year. And all of this stuff is starting to wash off the hillsides. And these buildings that are up here, they're going to be gone soon because they just aren't, the land is not designed to handle storms like that. So there's going to be definite big changes for quite a bit of places like this. So it's coming. It's going to suck. And, good luck, everybody. Lost Waves, I hear you're going to challenge Jake Shields to a fight. Is that a joke I'm supposed to know, Lost Waves? Because I don't know who Jake Shields is. It's a character in a movie. Jake Shields. Jake Shields. American mixed martial artist. Submission grappler. He was the last Rumble on the Rock welterweight champion. So is he Hawaii dude? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's older than me. He's 44. Transgender MMA fighter accepts Jake Shields' fight challenge. Going to fuck you up. Shields has a willing transgender opponent lined up. Transgender two-time high school wrestling champion, effective former UFC fighter Jake Shields' fight offer. Shields has been outspoken and via social media for months regarding a variety of issues, including transgender athletes. Made the same for transgender athlete clear in the form of back to force with the likes of MMA fighter Elena McLaughlin and others. So Mac Beggs. Is Mac Beggs the wrestler that like went off to wrestle college? Oh, all right. Okay, cool. That's who that is. Video brand, it floods where I'm at, then it would be biblical. Been told enough to avoid lowlands in my life. Where are you, BW brand? I don't remember. But I mean, we saw those floods in Kentucky. We did a Charity Tuesday for those guys. That was like some 100-year floods. And the thing is that in locations all over the earth, we're seeing 100-year and 500-year floods happen in the same location every couple of years. Like this is a 100-year flood, then 2 years later, this was also a 100-year flood. Then the year after that, well, this one is also a 100-year flood. So maybe we consider that now the normal floodplain, if that's the case. Lots of ways. Also, what happened to Sammy Sosa? Remember when he got busted with a cork bat? The home run race was a fun time to a baseball fan. I mean, everyone was on drugs. They were steroiding out like crazy. What happened to him is that he got his skin bleached and became a white guy. And then kind of disappeared from the limelight after that. I mean, everyone knows that those guys were using drugs and steroiding like crazy. But they're like, well, that was the 90s. So, yeah. The Bartman situation. That was a fun team back then. Beauty Brand, what happened was probably testing for the roids and closed door reprimands. State of baseball looks good to me. Not used to the pitch clock, but it had to happen eventually. Yeah. Yanni Houston, have you played Finnish baseball? I've not played it. I've seen videos of it, especially from that one field that's next to like a canal or a creek, and the guys are always like laying out, catching balls flying into the creek. That looks like fun. But no, I've not played Finnish baseball. I don't know if the rules are different. I don't know. I know there was a website back in the day. I don't think it runs anymore, called European Baseball Connection. That's how the original team I got signed with was through the Brewers. One of their scouts who had scouted me in high school was like, I remember you. And they had a team they sponsored in Germany, in Zulpich, which is near Cologne. And I was supposed to go to, what were their names? The Zulpich Eagles or something like that. I was supposed to go there. And then the team lost their sponsorship and folded like a month before I was supposed to go to Germany. And the guy who was their GM was really nice. And he's like, go to this page, European Baseball Connection. It's run by a college baseball coach who coaches in Europe, and he finds spots. So I went on there and I found the team in Austria that I went and played for. And yeah, and so there were baseball teams in Finland, they're all over that were looking for players. And some of them were like, "Hey, you pay your way and you pay for everything and you play for us and help us win." And it's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Someone with a team that could pay me at least something. I got a free place to live and like €1,000 a month and food, which was more than I could ask for at 20 years old. It's better than like traveling Crater, Iowa, playing baseball. But speaking of which, I found the baseball field. I was looking on the wrong side of town in Kufstein. Oops, wrong city. That's Salzburg. Wrong city. Kufstein. Kufstein, there we go. This valley. Wrong valley. So the town, the baseball field basically overlooks Germany. So that's Germany there. There's the river. This is the field. This is the field where we played. And what was crazy, to me, the craziest thing is that this mountain here, you can see like waterfalls that come off the mountain. It's quite a few streams and creeks. That this river comes down, or stream comes down straight off the mountain into a trough. And like a cowboy movie, this trough would run right along next to the baseball field, and you'd take a ladle and you would like drink the fresh mountain water out of the trough. And I was like, to me, you don't do that because you get Giardia or something. And all the Austrians are like, no, this came from right there. There's no deer shitting in this thing. It's a cliff. And so I drank my water out of the ladle like everybody else. I was so worried I was going to get some sort of parasite or amoeba or something, but never did. Yeah. So the grass-based paths were weird. Yeah. Sports plot shots. There's our baseball. There's our baseball field. We had no fans, even though we're the best team in Austria. No one showed up to our games, except for like the girlfriends of the players. Those ladies showed up to the games, and all of them played on the softball team. Wait, I did show you, right? I didn't have it on. I can't remember. Yes. Baseball field. Yaw. Okay. I thought can't remember if I had it on small or large. Lost waves, you hear the latest on Eye of Africa? Nutty. No. Ray Grumps. Is it possible that the craft you saw in the canyon moving slowly was a new kind of Harrier jet of some sort? Those can hover and move slowly like your story. Well, it looked different. It looked like a single wing. Like I don't know what to call it. What's the name of this single wing flyer, like the B-2 bomber type thing? F-117, where it's just like a wing. And it made no sound. It just went past me. And it was like, it was crazy. Definitely a dude flying it. Definitely human. Definitely a ship to this point I've never seen. And it made zero sound. Just as it went by. And it wasn't going very fast either. It looked like it could go faster, but the guy was just navigating the canyon and just, following this thing around at less than highway speed, it seemed. It was weird. So it might have been a Harrier that we just haven't declassified yet. I don't know. Atlantis confirmed. Lost waves. How do you know when a dinosaur is telling the truth? You don't, because they're fossilized. That was dumb. Citizen 54, Houston. Today, GME had different prices on TD and Webull, about 30 cents difference. During the morning's trade, during the squeeze, prices were also different on multiple brokers. That's arbitrage. They're using different markets to pass through. Might be using IEX, might be using Dark Pool, might be using New York Stock Exchange, whatever. They're using different markets to pass stuff through, so you'll have lots of arbitrage as a result. And a lot of those high-frequency trader guys that recognize that arbitrage, and they'll move millions of shares from one exchange to another, and they'll capitalize on that arbitrage. It happens. Citizen 54. By measuring the coefficient of variation in Volkswagen stock prices between the 7 exchanges and 15-minute intervals, I find the abnormal trading conditions can be detected by 10 a.m. on the day. Price spike. This warnings could give traders a significant time advantage. Those with short positions may be able to exit while the Volkswagen was trading at 350 euros, perhaps saving them from being closed out the next day as the price headed towards 1,000. I mean, why not? If you found it, I'm sure someone else has probably done that too. So test it out. Test the next. What will be the next one to squeeze? I don't know. GTI, but GTI is on the OTC, so that goes through anyone. It's usually broker to broker clearing and stuff. Nolan Fansler. Do you think the transfer of wealth that can occur from our squeeze could start a class war or old money versus new money war? Game theory it, please. No, I mean, what happens is generally new money is like uncouth and does not know how to handle themselves. And the old money people go, oh, look at those fools. They're such simians. They're knuckle draggers. And then within a generation, like our kids are all going to the same private schools and they're all old money and they act just like each other. It won't be a war. We'll just be the loud, annoying people until we learn our place, I guess. I don't know. But there will be some who lose it all. that their short hedge fund bet entirely on shorting the stuff out of existence, and it backfires on them. And so they'll lose it all. But then who gives a shit? They're gone. We'll buy their house. There'll be others that maintain, because they've got everything in blue chips and dividend stocks, and they don't play these games. They just play golf. And those folks will be intermarrying with them, and they'll hate us for marrying their daughters and their sons or whatever. But they'll have no choice, because we're just that much cooler and new and fresh. So no, we'll take over some of them. There'll be Houston Wade the Fourth. Who'll be running some hedge fund 110 years from now, and he'll be a complete douchebag. I can tell you that much right now. Like, I'll hate his guts if I ever met him. But it'll be his turn to burn. I will have driven my Ferrari by then. Bo got smoked. Bo's options expired some time ago. Oh, Bo, I'm sorry. You got smoked. Yanni Houston, are you going to buy the $3,500 Apple VR hat? No. No. I'm not going to buy a $3,500 Apple VR hat. Someone gave it to me. I tinker with it, but there's no way in hell I'm spending that money. Did you guys see the crowd reaction when they announced the price? The crowd went, ooh. like everyone's like, oh, it's really cool, it's really neat. And then the price, like, not cool enough for me to pay that kind of money for it. And I'm an Apple nerd, they said. Yeah. That's the reaction you want when a bunch of like Apple fanboys who will gladly buy anything Apple produces are like, too rich for my blood. Yeah. I mean, anyone who buys that, they're gonna have a target on their back, like a blue check on Twitter. Galactic Club's here, excellent. Arbitrage. Luke Alexander, Houston. I thought I heard every excuse in the book, but FINRA gave us a new one by saying it's too much work for their employees if that show the blue sheets. Which is hilarious, because I don't know if you guys saw someone linked to a lawsuit from April. It's like April 4th. The court found they had to provide the blue sheets, and they did so by April 5th. One day, they produced the blue sheets. They are really, really, really lazy with this. Hope Basile uses that. Show your honor. They can do it in one day. They did it in this court case right here in New York. So, yeah. They're basically saying, like, take away from the regulatory jobs. But the entire point is they weren't doing their jobs regulating anything, so you're not really taking them away from anything. So if you want to fix the system, give us some blue sheets. Let's see what's on them. I mean, if they say it's going to take a long time, it's because they're going to spend a lot of time like fabricating, falsifying information. It takes a lot of work to falsify information, Your Honor. It's going to take us so long to produce ones that fit our narrative. Do the aliens have OnlyFans? I don't know. If they do, they've got excellent suits covering the lizard bodies. Scott Palm with the VR glasses could be HUD ski goggles. That'd be too sick. Dragon photoreceptive lens is dope. I would be terrified of having a HUD up while I'm skiing, because I'd be like reading like my speed, and then I would not pay attention where I'm going at all. Richard Saunders is here. Your favorite trader's favorite trader is here. What's up with Binance today? SEC announced investigation to Binance. I think that's what happened with them. Citizen 54 whistleblower David Charles Grush, 36, a decorated former combat officer in Afghanistan, is a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA, National Reconnaissance Office, NRO. He served as reconnaissance officer representative to the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force from 2019 and 21. From late 21 to July 22, he was NGA's co-lead for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. I forget they go to UAPs now. And it's representative to the task force. We are not talking about prosaic origins or identities, Gersh said, referencing information that he provided Congress and the current ICIG. The material includes intact and partially intact vehicles. Uh-oh. Well, there we go. There's the man telling everybody what's up. That they have alien space vehicles. Well, just put them into passenger aircraft already so that it takes me like 2 hours to get to Europe. I don't want to, like 12 hours to go skiing. I want to be able to do it in an afternoon, dude. Things are getting hot. Time to shake things up with alien talk. They do like to do that. Every spring, they always like to throw the alien talk out, like every May, June, the past couple of years, don't they? Yeah. Vix is down 100%. Comment. Well, Fabrizio, I think it's entirely, well, it's not down 100% because that goes from 0 to be at 0. It's down a lot. It's because of that heavily weighted SPY. That the S&P 500 has 5 tech stocks representing over 1/4 of the entire index. And that kind of defeats the purpose of an index. So it's not really telling you what's really going on in the market. It's just telling you what's going on with those 5 stocks. And tech stocks are tech stocks. They don't have to produce anything except clickety-clack. So you don't have to worry about factories or anything. You just have somebody spit some stuff onto a web page and you're making money. And Rolnick, Houston. Why do birds chirp outside our windows all night long? I like to sleep with my window open, but these birds are making me crazy. I thought birds slept at night. Well, they're supposed to. But like just before I started, it's dark outside and there's a robin that's still going nuts out there. It finally shut up a little bit ago. But what I found is I just put a fan in the room, white noise going all night, and it drowns out all the birds. Because the birds here, like, they start at like 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning this time of year. They're like, oh my God, the sun's going to rise in 2 hours. Well, let's go fucking nuts. And they're so loud. And there's like trees outside my window where they got little nests. And so I get a box fan, I crank that sucker on full, and I just let it rip. It just drowns it all out. That and a sleep mask, and I sleep like a baby. London Voice, Wade Trash Talk. Fact checked. It was thrown out. What are you talking about, London Voice? I don't know. I don't know to what you're referring. Was something I said earlier? I have no idea. If you're going to comment, allude to what it was, because it takes me a while, because I am 40 minutes behind the chat, so I have no idea what you're referring to. Daphne's phone battery about to die. Sorry. Citizen 54, Trump is freaking out. Looks like an indictment is coming any day now. His lawyers asked to meet with Jack Smith. Looks like he told them to kick rocks. My guess is that they begged for him for a meeting. He's probably like, sure, bring any evidence you have that shows your client was innocent. And they showed up empty-handed because they're only there like 15 minutes and they left like, oh no. It also turns out that when the government asked Trump for the surveillance footage, that somebody accidentally flooded their server room with water from the pool. I drained the pool, just happened to be right into the server room. It's all broken. We can't do everything. And the government was like, oh, give it to us anyway. And then they uncovered a bunch of data that does not look good for Trump regarding the mishandled documents. So, yeah, I think an indictment's coming. And I think an indictment's probably coming in Georgia as well. So he's going to be facing 3 different criminal trials all at the same time and trying to run for president desperately to win so he can pardon himself. It's going to be eventful, to say the least. And E. Jean Carroll is going to take all his money because he fucked up, and she and her lawyer are filing again for him, basically violating the restraining order. And he's not supposed to talk about her or the case or anything. And yeah, they're going to go after him pretty hard, and they're going to take him for a lot of money. So he's going to be spending money on lawyers. And the thing is, like, he can't not pay these lawyers like he used to. Like, the big thing he did was, like, not pay. They would do stuff for him, and then he just would never cut him a check. And they're like, what the hell? He's like, sue me. And he get a new lawyer. But he's, like, run out of lawyers to the point where his former lawyers, like Ty Cobb, are like, yeah, he's going to prison. So, don't crime like an idiot. That's probably the best advice I can give you. If you're going to crime, you pull the big crime and then you get out of town. You don't keep hanging around and do more crime, because eventually people are going to be like, you know what? There's been enough crime. We're going to come after you. So one big score, get out of town, sleep in a hammock on the beach, and enjoy your Mai Tais and supermodels. They'll usually let you get away with one, as long as you don't keep coming after. Like, remember a couple years ago, I think it was during COVID, there was those folks who were sending the invoices to, like, Google, Facebook, and Amazon, I think. It took almost $100 million out of Facebook, almost $100 million out of Amazon, and they went over $100 million on Google. And they just kept sending these invoices to their pay accounts receivable or whatever. And you know, they just cut a check. Oh, there's this much time, and they're okay. They just cut a check for millions of dollars and send it back. And these criminals, they had $300 million or almost $300 million they had made. And they hadn't kept going with Facebook. They hadn't kept going with Amazon, but they kept going with Google. And they went over $100 million with Google. And Google had some sort of internal system that was like, when a contractor goes over $100 million in services, we do an automatic audit of all the services they do. And that's what caught them. If they had just stopped at $98 million and walked away with their $300 million, they never would have been caught by Facebook, Amazon, or Google for like 20 years until they did like a full audit of everything. So don't get greedy. When you commit your crime and you're like, woo, I did it. Play it cool, man. Don't get greedy. You have $300 million. Put the sucker, buy $300 million of IEP and get 40% returns right now on it. Just play it cool. Everyone loves a good heist. Just don't get greedy. I was totally distracted, Justin. I'm sorry. Baby Brand saying he must be distracted. He would have commented in the chat. Yes, I'm sorry. 1,000 apologies. Where? I totally lost my spot. Crud. Where were we? There's that one. So before, we're talking about Grush and Rulnick, Birds Chirp. Okay, we're past that one. Trump's freaking out. There we are. That's where we are. Okay. Muck under water, very squishy. True. But they also, remember, Ukraine is where those crazy trucks that drive on water were invented. You know, those big, what are those things called? Called like a... Ukrainian truck that drives on water. Sherpa. That's right. The Sherpa. Or ATV. That's what I want. Yeah. Images. These things. Not Google Earth. Sherps. These guys. These are built in Ukraine. They drive on water. They don't care about muck. They drive over anything. They're like the Lamborghinis of all-terrain vehicles. They don't care. They don't care about mud. They don't care about not having bridges. They drive on water. They work like paddle boats. They just motor right across. So the Dnipro, being low, it won't matter. It's buoyant. It's more buoyant than mud. You can drive across all sorts of stuff. Look at this thing. I don't give a shit. Oh, you're an icy flow in the river? I don't care. I'm going to drive across you anyway. So that is Ukrainian technology right there. These things are pretty cool. Completely watertight. You can get like you can extend the drive shaft out the back and attach it to another containment unit. So you can have like that as a camper or, put more people inside of it. So you can just fill the sucker with troops, drop it off the other side, go back, get some more, and do it over and over and over and over. Or just popping a wheelie. Yeah. These things are rad. I'd love to play with one. Not very big. There's that guy. That's ridiculous. There's a cockpit. It's cool, man. I'm sure we'll see those suckers get used. They're fun. The Rougarou of Wall Street. Will the U.S. stock market ever get to auto buy-ins for FTDs? Thanks, Houston. Not at the current rate. If FTDs and naked shorting crash the market, there'll be some definite comeuppance. And they'll go through and go, this is the problem. Maybe we shouldn't allow naked shorting anymore. No more naked shorting loopholes. And then you wouldn't have FTDs. Personally, I would like to see FTDs become so punitive that no one can afford to do them. Like, if you generate FTD, you sell a stock you don't have. And under clearing, the customer gave money, you never gave the stock, automatically triggers a flag, and the regulators step in and say, okay, you didn't deliver the stock, you owe the person the stock and $10,000. Right? And if you do it another time, you'll lose your brokered license or your whatever. So I would love to see something so punitive that people don't even think about it. They don't want to do it. They will chastise anyone who does it because they can lose the firm's broker license. They'll be paying $10,000 a share anytime they do fail to deliver. So it'll be so punitive that no one's going to sell anything they don't have. So you can say like, hey, it's against the law. And if you do it, you're fucked. That's probably the only way it's going to work. And this is the way the other countries do it. It's the way South Korea does it. You naked short in South Korea, you're going to prison. So we need to do that here in the United States. The rest of the world is getting sick and tired of our bullshit. And if we want to save our stock market and make it like this beacon that it can be, and if you want the Dow to do well and the S&P 500 to do well, then you don't allow them to naked short anymore. You make it so they have to borrow shares and pay interest on those shares, and make that the system. And make them have to report it. I want to see who's short. Under the law, we get to see who's long, who owns 4.5%, 5% or more of a company gets reported, right? But we don't get to see who's shorted a company. I want who's shorting stuff. I want to know who's jumped in there in the shorting companies, because we deserve to know. It's a fair system. Long shouldn't have to be revealed, and shorts get to remain anonymous. That's stupid. Mo asks for your ass, Trump getting indicted this week, you think? The grand jury is convened again after having 3 weeks off, which either tells me there's more witnesses they've got to interview, or they're going to have them deliberate. So if it's more witnesses interview than deliberations, still further out. If they haven't reconvened to deliberate, they could be working on counts they recommend for indictment. I woke up early today and I am kind of like, you ever had like a grasshopper in your eyes? Mom calls it, where like your eyelid twitches a whole bunch. My left eyelid is doing that right now. Probably because I need to sleep. But you know what? The show must go on. We still have 51 minutes to go. Oh, that's a long 51 minutes from now. We'll do it. We'll get there. Brand, I heard somebody say 9 to 12 hurricanes for Atlantic. Not checked, but sounds crazy. 17 to 23 named storms. I mean, in El Nino's past, the Atlantic generally has been cooler and didn't generate as many named storms. But right now, the Atlantic is really, really warm. I doubt there's anything brewing yet because the hurricane season hasn't quite begun. But National Hurricane Center NOAA.gov. Or you can just not go there. Oh, I got one potential storm off the Azores. Yeah. So, not much brewing yet. Was one potential storm off a cyclone formation. What's the percentage chance? Does it say it here? Complex non-tropical area of low pressure located between Azores and Canary Islands, producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms, winds, gale force over the North Atlantic. System could acquire some subtropical characteristics during the next day or two while it meanders in the southeast and east of the Azores. So it's heading that way. Generally, you get stuff off the Cape Verde Islands here. These are the Cape Verde Islands. Oops, can't see. I'm going to do that. How do I go back? Go outside the Cape Verde Islands. This is generally the like highway system for the storms. Is you've got dust blows off the Sahara Desert, and that creates a lot of particulates for water vapor to condense around. And so you get your cloud formation starting there. And this whole band across the ocean has a lot of warm water. And so it does one of two things. One, it works its way up the Caribbean and smashes all this stuff and hits Florida or spins off and hits higher up the coast, or breaks through the Caribbean islands and works its way into the Gulf and smashes up, or it can generate inside the Gulf itself, because the Gulf and the Caribbean are super warm, so they can generate their own storms. And those ones generally smack into Texas, Louisiana, and sometimes come reverse and go through like Fort Myers, Tampa, that or we saw last year. And then the other side, Eastern Pacific, they form off of they form here in these storm systems off of Central America, and they work their way west, and they can hit Hawaii eventually. So they'll stay in the Eastern Pacific Hurricane Center, and then if they develop anything else, go to Central Pacific Hurricane Center. Nope, that's there you go, Central Pacific. So see, there's nothing happening in Hawaii. But when they come to Hawaii, they do one of two things. They break north and hit cold water and die, or they can break south, miss the islands entirely, go out and wipe out Guam or whatever. Or like Iniki did in 1992, was it came north and hit this. The winds blow this way, and it brings cooler water to the leeward side of the islands. But because these islands block the wind, this water on the other side can be really, really warm, like 5 degrees warmer than the water on the other side of the island. And so when Iniki came through, it broke up under the backside, the leeward side of the Hawaiian Islands, and became a superstorm with 200-mile-an-hour winds, and then just ravaged Kauai and just laid waste. And there's beaches on the Big Island that used to be sand beaches 30 years ago that don't have sand today because the storm system was so powerful and generated such monster waves. It just destroyed the sand beach, and the sand is just gone. It's been gone for 30 years as a result. But yeah, a lot of times they break north and they just kind of die out. In 2014, which hurricane was it? It wasn't Jimene. That was 103. Monkey, you weren't alive yet. Maybe you were. No, you've been born 2015, so you weren't alive yet. But 2014 out in Puna, they got hit with a hurricane. It was only Category 1 when it landed, but no one was ready for it. And then the meth heads like robbed the police station and stole all the emergency vehicles, and just they had their own little fiefdom for like 2 weeks. I was there. I was on the island the day after the storm hit, and all the reports were just about meth heads just running wild in Puna because the cops couldn't do anything. It was fantastic and hilarious. New rating system for storms, Richard Saunders says. Nazar Bratko, lots of rain in Colorado. Well, it's in the wrong time of year. Their monsoon's supposed to be like August, September. Peter Joy 931. When will company that can't get named get rid of their CEO, George, he's going to bankrupt the company. I doubt they will, since he founded the company, and he's the one that's done everything. Michael Mystery, the procurer of the shirt. That hippie shirt looks really good on you. The t-shirt matches some of the word coloring. Yeah, the t-shirt underneath is a shirt my little sister brought back from Okinawa. It's a good shirt. It's got the Goya going on it. So, Goya is a bitter fruit. Can you bear this bitterness? Ah! And it's like the national fruit of Okinawa. The official food is bitter. Looks like a cucumber, but it's super bitter. And they like to have lots of goofy stuff about Goya. Goya gone. One more. There's one more button. There it is. Okay. We're good. I don't think I missed any buttons. All right. Sweet. And you can tell it's a good shirt because the pocket matches. Pocket's actually on the inside in this one. It's fantastic. All right. JR, how the SPY so high right now? Those 5 companies. Rogaroo of Wall Street, Houston, what's big and red and eats rocks? Big and red and eats rocks. It's a real dumb answer, I know that. What is big and red and eats rocks? Rogaroo, answer me. Answer me, Rogaroo. What's big and red and eats rocks? Florentine Milan Lopez. How events need to take place for Jimmy to Moas. I think right now the market needs to take a huge dip while Jimmy posts profit. Yeah. Justin G. here in San Diego averaged around 10 inches per year, but already had 11 with 7 months to go. Ah, man. Yeah. Because you're a desert. Jethro, any news on Sears? No news on Sears as far as I know. If there's news on Sears and it's good, I would make it the headline, but nothing's popped up as of late. If anyone hears news on Sears, send it to me, because I don't necessarily have like a Sears IV in my arm. Let me know what's going on at all times. Crash course on time dilation, please. Oh, man. I need my slides for that. You move past, lengths get longer, but the experience of time is less. But the outside observer, they see you take forever to do things. And time just seems to go by. Here's a crash course. There's really crappy video like the show. Yeah, this one. Okay. If I play the video, you guys, I will here. All right. I'm not going to play the video because we'll get a copyright strike, but I'll put the video right there in a minute and a half. It explains time dilation pretty well for you. So I'd show it to my students. It's really crappy, like animation probably from the early 90s, but it does a great job. So it's in the chat. You're welcome to click on it anytime you want. There you go. There's your crash course of time dilation. And I didn't have to do a thing. Daphne, thoughts on Retail United? Not sure if you are aware of the differing opinions on it. Do you feel total focus should be 100% on resolving MNTLP before efforts to bring in all retail? So I do think that we need a lobbying arm. We need an advocacy group. We need a political action committee. We need something that is focused on retail investing, rights of retail investors, and to make the markets more fair and egalitarian. That helps everybody. And I think doing that would ultimately help MMTLP investors. But I think it's good to do both. We need somebody who can grease palms in Washington and say, hey, it'd be a shame if you didn't get tens of thousands of dollars of campaign donations, but you're not helping us on these issues of retail investing. So we're going to have to fund your opponent unless we see some legislation get passed that will, help out retail investors. That's the type of stuff we need going. It's the only thing they're going to listen to. So, remain annoying, but at the same time, we need to have an arm. And I would gladly pay, a $5 a month membership to an advocacy group that can go lobby Congress. Why not? I mean, it'd pay off in spades. So why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? I would love to create one, but I have not done so I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. But I would totally love to see or help out or something with a lobbying group that could do that. Richard Saunders, old 80s Ferrari. Hell yeah. Like I want a 328 GTSI. If I have any Ferrari, because it's the 308 but with a fuel injection and the better engine. And it also has better performance speeds. Because the 308 actually didn't have very good performance at all. It's just I think it's the sexiest Ferrari ever made. And I would totally take a 328. But can't afford one right now, so 1999 Oldsmobile Aurora it is. To the war rigs running. So Chlamydia sounds like a Delta Wing glider, but they're not the most maneuverable of aircraft. Yeah, Delta Wing. That's the name. That's what I think I was looking for. But no, it definitely was powered. It wasn't a glider. Definitely had thrust to it because the way the guy would take corners was with thrust. So I don't know. Whatever it was in that Utah Desert Canyon. You got me. Aaron Saltine, Houston. Do you believe Gmail will pump till $35 after hours on earnings? Also, do you think BBBY would be worth $6 a share after the buyout? So $6 a share. Go to calculators. I got to turn you off. Calculator. Bam. All right. So $6 a share times 450123123. That puts it at 2.7 billion plus 1.4 billion on top of that. So it'd have to be a $4.1 billion bid to get to $6 a share. I think some of the bidders have the money to do that. I don't know if it will go that high. I think that's probably, if I were to make a bell curve of likelihood, I would put that on the far end of the bell curve and put something in the $3 billion, the $3.5 billion range, more in the center of the bell curve. Anything less than that on the left side of the curve that wouldn't, there's not likelihood to come out because there's so many bidders, you're going to have to put up money for it. And you're going to be competing. So you're going to have to put up more money than someone else is willing to put up. And just for Bye Bye Baby alone, that company alone is probably worth $4 billion, if not more. So you might want to have a group, an ICANN and Cohen combo with maybe a Pulte in there who, Cohen wants Bye Bye Baby. ICANN is a total vulture, and he loves to go through companies, sometimes tear them apart, sometimes build them back up again. And he could do that with Bed Bath & Beyond. So you're probably going to want some sort of partnership that's going to split up the two main factors in there. And they're going to reach some sort of handshake agreement to go do it. So, yeah, on the outside, 4.1 billion I think would be doable. But it's less likely than I think $3.5 billion range, which puts it at $4.50 to $5 a share. Well, it could be totally wrong. It could be someone come in with like a $10 million offer, and that's all that comes in, and then there goes Bed Bath & Beyond for $10 million, and we don't get shit. So, Daphne, hi, hey Aaron, my one share of Acro went to 0 shares on Robinhood. Oh, Acor. All right, Aaron says they will give you a full share after 2 days after the reverse split. Okay. Big Daddy Matty, if they had anything real on Trump, would have been used by now. They have used it. I don't know if you saw, he's got 35 felony indictments, 35 felony counts in his indictment in New York. It's a slow process, especially when you're dealing with an ex-president. As you're going to put it in front of grand juries, and you're making the grand jury's responsibility to indict, not the DA's. Because the DA wants to say, well, you know, this group of your peers was presented with all evidence, and they recommended that I indict you. So that's why I'm indicting you. It wasn't me. It wasn't a political witch hunt. It was the grand jury. So, what's it like to be on a grand jury? Like one of those federal grand juries that's convened for like 2 years. Do you just not go to work anymore? Do you somehow live off of the $5 a day they give you? Like, how do you survive, like make home payments and stuff if you can't go to work because you're stuck on some grand jury? I've never really had that answered. Speaking of jury, that Jury Duty show on Amazon is hilarious. It's brilliant. I don't know if you guys know about it, but there's a trial, and a bunch of potential jurors get called to jury duty, and this follows this one guy, Ronald, and Ronald is just a dude. He's just some guy. He's like excited to find out what it's like to be on a jury. It's interesting. You know, he's kind of optimistic, but he doesn't know that the trial is fake, and that all the other jurors and the lawyers and the plaintiff and the defendant, they're all fake. They're all actors. And so they go through this like total hijinks trial where he's stuck sequestered with the biggest weirdos in the entire world as his peers in the jury. And he's just like, this is fucking crazy. Like, no one would believe me that this is how life's going. And it is so funny. Yeah. It's Big Daddy Matty. Don't say 2 years for grand jury. I got picked eligible for one. Well, it's one of those federal grand juries where we're dealing with like, you know, the mafia or a governor or the president. You're going to be in that grand jury for a long time, bud. Yeah. But I do recommend the jury duty show on Amazon. It's and the guy that happens to be like the real person in the jury, he is just such a nice, kind, like just a wise dude who like genuinely seems to care about people. And, you know, he's surrounded by these weirdos who would just bug the hell out of most people. And he's like, you know what? That guy's just living his best life. More power to him. I really am fascinated with his philosophy of like, you know, riding the wave of life. That's what he's doing. Okay, where was I? Oh, grand jury thing. Okay. Oh, Chris Collins is here. So have you guys been getting lots of storms, Chris? I talked about it a little earlier. I didn't know if you're here. Talvin 4 Sherpas are also powered by a small Kubota diesel engine that will run for a long time on a tank of fuel. Yeah, they're only like 45 horsepower or something. They're crazy, and they've just like got massive transmissions with just a boatload of gears, so they can power everything. 220 people. I've got 233 for a late night Monday show. That's pretty good for a late night Monday show. For being 11 o'clock at night here, whatever time it is, wherever you guys are. Anthony, I'm going to totally pronounce Anthony Arriaga. I say that right? Arriaga. Maybe make market makers buy those stock they sold that are not yet purchased. Yes, indeed. Lima Central Time. That sounds like right. Lima Central Time. They're much further east than where I am. Chris Collins with La Nina coming. La Nina and coming Nino. We're having winter in Lima. Yeah, you guys getting hammered now, aren't you? Chris Collins, seawaters are way too hot. June is going to be a record-breaking 30 degrees Celsius. What? You guys have 30 degrees Celsius water in June? Dude. That is way too hot. That is way too warm of water off the coast of the Pacific. The Humboldt Current should be bringing all sorts of cold stuff from Antarctic, but no, it's warming. Philip Clayton. Oh, crap. There you go. I just lost Philip Clayton. There we go. Philip Clayton. More and more each day, I realize FINRA, DTCC, and the SEC are all complicit. Not about the money anymore. Just happy giving these scumbags sleepless nights like us lesser mortals. Yeah, we got to keep being annoying. Like, all the money in the world won't keep you from being annoyed by me. And in the end, right, you're going to have some bureaucrat at one of those agencies who makes less than their peers, you know, may be able to retire in 20 years or something, and they're going to be sick of it. And they're going to realize that with just a few keystrokes in their computer, hit enter, they can bring down everything, right? Like, what are you going to do? Fire me? I just unveiled your entire scheme to everybody with a few strokes on my keyboard. Like, that's the thing, is that there's going to be someone in that bureaucracy who's just sick of it. And I was like, I'm not getting paid enough for this shit. These people are annoying. I'm just going to give them what they want. Click. And boom, information get released or something. You just got to keep it up. It's got to keep being annoying. That's something money can't buy, is a good annoyance. And we are going to give it. Chris Collins says he's going through a super bloom basically in Lima. Fantastic. I'd love to see Lima green. That'd be awesome. Leroy Sock-Vibol. Is criminal Ken Griffin's going to jail, or he just have too many rich friends and corrupted politician friends that he bought off to turn a blind eye? The latter. What will bring Ken Griffin down is all of his short plays exploding in his face at once. Because we know they turned off the ability to withdraw cash from his funds. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, I made $16 billion. And everyone's like, how? He's like, I'm not going to tell you. So there's something sketchy going on for sure with Citadel. Because they were on the brink and all of a sudden they made $16 billion. Really? Did you? Or did you just not provide $16 billion worth of stock that you're supposed to? I think it's more that. Do you think 223E, do you think MMT will be resolved in 29-23? 900 years from now? I sure hope so. The year 2923. Chris Collins, we had some huacos, flash floods, and dried riverbeds, but the north near Peoria got screwed. Now dengue is running hot. Ooh. That's not good. And you got to watch out for cholera when you get floods like that too. That's why you got floodwaters. Don't go swimming in the floodwaters. Don't play. All that cesspools and sewage systems, everything is flooding into that stuff. You're just swimming in like just microbes. Avoid it if you can. Don't get it in your mouth. Don't get it in your eyes. Don't get anything that's completely avoidable. Michael McMinassian. Michael McMinassian. I get to read that. Not financial advice, Tom Houston. If I wanted to play with $500 or buy BBYQ shares or shares of stock that shall be named. Lol, thanks. I mean, short play, personally, I bought a bunch more BBYQ last week. I'm looking at it as there's only two options. One, there's a buyer and it pays out and I get more than I paid for it. Or two, a buyer doesn't get approved and it withers and dies and disappears forever. So you accept it as a lost cause. If you're going to buy any Bed Bath & Beyond, it should be money you expect to lose. Go thunk, just like buying a lotto ticket. You're not going to be the 1 in 175 million who's going to win the lotto. But if you do, cool. It should be entirely a purchase, as I am throwing my money away on a long shot. That's all you should treat it as. And don't get upset when it dies and withers. You'd be like, well, them's the breaks. But the chances of a payout are slightly better than lotto. And if it happens, fantastic. If it doesn't, well, I fucked up. That's the only way it should be treated. Ron Johnson, I'm surprised at your lack of bowling skills being you were a pitcher. As long as you have fun. My 269 was nerve-wracking. 269, damn. Having the first 9 strikes and choking on the 10th. Oh, I will not get there. Have you guys seen Mookie Betts? Mookie Betts is good enough to be a professional bowler and has beaten the greatest bowler in the entire world several times at like the World Invitational or whatever it is in Las Vegas. I bowled a perfect game at the World Championship this year. Mookie is an amazing bowler. If he wasn't playing baseball, he'd be on tour bowling. Phenomenal bowler. So I am no Mookie Betts. I would get to bowl about once a year growing up. We had a bowling alley on the island until I was about 10, and then turned the bowling alley into a fitness gym. The fitness gym still has the bowling lanes. So like you go work out and like you're walking on the old bowling lanes, but the closest bowling alley is either Seattle or Silverdale. And, you know, I'll make it to Silverdale maybe once a year at this point to go bowling. And I'll make it to Seattle maybe once a year to go bowling at the garage up on Capitol Hill. But yeah, it's not a regular thing for me. So, you know, it's complete. There's no skill involved. It's complete just vibes, baby. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. I really have no control over what I'm doing because I don't do it enough to know what I'm doing. Jay King, Houston, good morning. Evening to all. My hope is that when the blue sheets are handed over, they'll be forensically investigated thoroughly. I think that's kind of the idea, is that you have some forensic accountants look at it and see what lines up where. Be like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you put this in the blue sheet unless you're trying to cover up a crime or something? Whisker Biscuit in Phoenix for a long weekend. Any must-see attractions, hikes, etc. that have to do. Staying in Sedona right now, going to Cathedral Rock Trail for the sunrise. Sedona's awesome. I would go to Slide Rock while in Sedona. That's really fun. I think it's a state park. It's a river that's got this algae on all the rock. It's like a bedrock stream. It's got algae growing on it, and you just go, whee! Slide down it. It's kind of fun. What else? If you pass through Prescott, hiking Thumb Butte is really cool. There's that crazy cult place. I've not been yet. I've always wanted to go. Where is it? Let's see. We'll pull up Google Earth here. We're still in Austria, so we need to get out of Austria and get our ass over to Arizona. Let's get ourselves north-south. There's Prescott. So south of Prescott, there's the very weird... Is this it? No. Where's that place? Groom Creek. Where is that crazy cult place? It's very Star Trek. Palace Station, Triangle Ranch. Oh, I know it. I turn on my places. It should appear, right? Bring. Where are you? Where's my... Oh. Crown King. I didn't put it on here? Oh, shit. Usually the little doodad for Wikipedia pops up. Where's that crazy giant planned community? Potato Ranch? Camp Keepa? No. Lookout Palace Station? Where are you? Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing because you're looking at a calculator. Ah! There we go. There's a crazy planned community somewhere south of Prescott. I have to put it into sci-fi town near Prescott, AZ. Arcosanti. Yeah, this is it. Okay. All right. Arcosanti. That's what we're looking for. Okay. Come on. Ah! Control V. Delete all that. Arcosanti, Arizona. Nope. 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 Go there. Down one. Enter. Oh, it was further south. Okay, I wasn't far enough south. This place. It's like a crazy 200-year construction of this weird cult. I'll describe it. Wikipedia. There we go. Full article. Okay, so it's a projected experimental town with a bronze bell casting business in Yavapai County. So it makes bronze bells. 70 miles north of Phoenix, elevation of 3,000 feet. It's arcology concept proposed by Italian-American architect Paolo Soleri, who died in 2013 and began construction in 1970 to demonstrate how urban conditions could be improved while minimizing destructive impact on the earth. He taught and influenced generations of architects and urban designers who studied and worked with him there to build the proposed town. The goal of Arcosanti is to explore the concept of arcology, which combines architecture and ecology. The project has a goals of combining the social interaction and accessibility of an urban environment with sound environmental principles such as minimal resource use and access to natural environment. The project has been building an experimental town on 25 acres, owned by the Casanti Foundation, with a remainder leased from the state. Ground was broken in 1970 to begin construction on the site and has continued at varying pace throughout the present. The most recent completed building was finished in 1989, so it's been a while since they finished anything. The population has varied between 50 and 150 people, many of them students and volunteers. The goal of Arcosanti was to house a population of 5,000. 13 major structures were built on the site, some several stories tall. One master plan designed in 2001 envisioned a massive complex called Arcosanti 5000 that would dwarf the current buildings. So you can see, like, cafe. Well, it's cafe. You know, it's kind of brutalism looking. How do I go back? I saw that picture. I don't know how to go back. Oh, back there. So looks kind of like a college campus, like a brutalist college campus. Looks kind of like Olympic College, actually, where the arts building is. There it is on the hill. Crazy hippie looking stuff. I've always wanted to check it out, though. It's kind of Star Trek. Like, unless it looks like a Star Wars cantina, personally. But this is their bronze casting place, it looks like. They're like a cool theater-looking thing. Looks very cult-like, but very definitely like you would film an episode of Star Trek here and you'd find out that they were like eating babies but having sex all the time, because that's what they do in Star Treks. It's neat. I've always wanted to go check it out. So go check that out for me and report back. And if you can report back if you joined a cult by accident or something. My feeling is you'll meet some hippies that would be desperate for somebody to serve tea to. Arizona hip hop group Injury Reserve released a music video from there. But no Star Trek films. I'm surprised. It looks a lot like if you watch the first season of Picard, where what's the doctor's dude, the one that made Data, and like where that guy was living with all the synthetic organisms. That's what this place reminds me of. Mr. Frosty's here. It's Liddy. BBYQ options still available. My broker is set to position close only. I begged, I called like 4 days in a row to Fidelity, and they would not let me buy options. So I ended up buying shares. I wanted to get some August options. I wanted to get like 1,000 of them because, you know, money, baby. It's money, baby. Peachy Sundays here. Casanti is a gallery by the same architect in Scottsdale that was wickedly cool, where you can buy bronze bells. It's archaeology, architect, and ecology. So Peachy Sunday knows. She knows what's up. I'll check that out. I've not been able to venture too much. Like the times I spent in Arizona has been out by like Quartzsite and Wickenburg looking for gold and meteorites, then finding meteorites. In Navajo country, where there's not really much of anything except a bunch of dead dogs on the side of the road and emaciated horses. Grand Canyon, and then like in urban Arizona. When I played baseball, we'd do a tournament in Chandler, Arizona each year. And that's Chandler, Arizona. So all we experienced there was like the Best Western and the Hooters outside of Arizona State. So that whole area I'm not too familiar with Arizona at all, that part. But the mountains, yes, I'm familiar with the mountains. Daphne, I was able to put in an order on Fidelity? You were? Fidelity wouldn't let me at all, Daphne. Maybe they like you more than me. Ron Johnson, have you studied at Stony Brook? Eric Weinstein thinks there is a new Manhattan project. That's where it would be. Thoughts? Stony Brook? Is Stony Brook on Long Island? I have a friend who went to Stony Brook. I know it was in New York. So that was Long Island. Yeah, on Long Island. Okay. If there's a Manhattan Project to be out here in Stony Brook, I don't know. I think if you're going to do Manhattan Project stuff, you're going to want to do it in the desert where no one can come bother you. So there's the college there. I mean, maybe? I don't know. But no, I've never studied at Stony Brook. Well, it's Stony Brook and Hofstra. Those are the two out in Long Island, right? I don't know. I've never been in Long Island past like Queens and Brooklyn. So I've not experienced the Long Island part of Long Island. Well, with our MOAS money, I'll have to buy some place out in the Hamptons, and then I'll be able to explore Long Island more, right? Rob Lucky Houston, been a while. Work stuff. Great seeing you again. Well, welcome, Rob Lucky. Richard Saunders used to live in Stony Brook. All right. East Setouket, to be exact. Dr. Sung, I think. Dr. Sung, yes, that's who it was. Thank you, Talvin. Good to have a Trekkie in the audience. Oh, Daphne ordered shares, not options. Yeah. Yeah. George777, any chance BBYQ to $3? Man, I hope so. I hope it goes to $4 or $5, somewhere in there. That would be a real welcome treat, especially if you know, to load up for my MOAS holdings. I need a good chunk, healthy chunk. A good healthy chunk is what I need. Man, I'm fading. But I made it to the end of the chat. I don't think I missed anything. Did I miss anything? I don't know if I did. BW Brand of Houston, have you had a good watermelon lately? Not yet. I had some cubed watermelon. I had dinner with my mom the other night. It was okay for cubed watermelon. But I have not had a dynamite watermelon yet. They don't start to come in here until later in the summer. So if we're getting any, it's probably coming from like South America still. Or maybe like California. But like our watermelons won't be ready till a little bit later in the summer. Right now, strawberries and cherries are starting to come in. Next up would probably be plum season. Oh, baby, plum season's the best. Woo! Can't get any better than plum season. So hopefully plum season is dynamite this year because I'm going to be slurping on my dad's plums all day long. But that's like mid to end of July. And then blackberry season. And then you get your Italian plum season in September, which my neighbor's tree. I have new neighbors up the street. They don't think they realize how good the Italian plum tree is in their yard. And so I'm going to get them all before they realize it. And then there's our apples. And if it's good hot summer, the Asian pears, the pear apples, those suckers will be good to go in about a month. So early July. So Monkey Butt and I found in Georgetown. So if we... The first year I had Monkey Butt, we discovered this tree. And oh my God, I got to turn off the... Bye-bye. Okay. So we took the ferry and we just, Monkey Butt and I would walk like 20, 30 miles in a day and just have a great time. And took the ferry, got downtown Seattle, we head south and walked through the industrial area. All through the industrial area. And we got down to Georgetown, which is across the tracks in here. And there is an industrial building. It's like an office on one side and then some sort of industrial, they build something on the other side. And they have 2 Asian pear trees in sort of this little courtyard in front of the office section. And it gets ripe in July. And so, if you go to the grocery store, you're going to buy yourself an Asian pear. It's going to be like $5. It's going to be wrapped in that like special foam little diaper that they put them in. And they're super exquisite. Monkey Butt's a year old. I've had her for like maybe 5 weeks at this point. And we do this like 30-mile walk through Georgetown, through Seattle and Georgetown. And we find this tree with the most ripe Asian pears you could ever imagine. And Monkey Butt and I ate like 20 pounds of them each. I'm just feeding them to her. She's like, oh, fuck yeah, give me more. And there's another one. It was amazing. And I got sick on Asian pears. And so I didn't get a chance to do the walk last year. So I'm going to make sure that in my walk into Georgetown, I'm going to get myself my Asian pears. And I'm going to get as many of them as I possibly can before anyone else in Georgetown realizes they're there. I'm just drooling now thinking about all the delicious fruit I'm going to have this summer. It's just so we need it. We need all the delicious fruit in our lives. So give it to us. All right, where were we? Richard Saunders said Setauket just got butchered like the natives that name the place. How do you pronounce it? Setauket? Setauket. Common sense beats intelligence. Regulatory bodies protecting hedgies and naked shorts have turned off margin calls for all meme stocks. I mean, maybe they just let it destroy them from the inside rather than overtly from cascading margin calls. Someone clip that. I remember what I was saying when he said clip that. I don't know. All right. 10-hour video loop. George777. If BBBYQ goes to $3, it may trigger bigger squeeze with all memes to meme basket. I mean, we could hope, but I mean, it's been over $3 in the past. It's just that if it goes $3 this time, they're forced to pay out. So they're going to be forced to pay a payment and lose. Now, did they short at 30? So like, oh, whatever, I'll pay it off at 3 and then have to pay the taxes on it. Oh, well. Or did they keep shorting at 7 cents? And now they're like, fuck, we just shorted 100 million shares at 7 cents. And now we're going to pay $3 for every single one of those things. We're screwed. I'm not quite sure which way it's going to go. Oh, the kitty cat finally wants to join us. Just in time for the end of the show, huh, Ding Dong? Come on. There you go. There you go. Here you come, say hi. Come on. Come on. Only have a little bit. You can keep rubbing yourself on things, but look what I got. Look what I got. I got an avocado. Meow. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Oh, yeah. Eyes locked in on that. Cattail karaoke! There you go. All right, now you're in the way. You are in the way. Yeah, eat it, but I can't see the chat, so move your butt. Move your butt. Here, I'm going to take this. I'll put it over there, so you have to walk over there to get... There we go. All right. Bit of a brand. We'll have to see about that dam being destroyed after the show. Yep. Ron Johnson, should you be giving away your secret stash of Apple Lives? Hey, man, I totally welcome anybody to go walk the industrial areas of Seattle and search for that tree. I mean, if you find it, more power to you. But you got to find it at the right time in the right place. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is. It's Georgetownish area. You have, I don't know, 100 city blocks to look at there. Figure out which one it is. Fuckosaurus. If Bye Bye Baby gets sold off, then how do BBYQ investors shake out, assuming it's like a $2 billion buyout? Well, it's a $2 billion buyout for Bye Bye Baby. That comes out to about $1 per share, maybe a little more than $1 per share for everyone, just off that buyout. And it allows them to pay off their debt. So they can come out of that sucker in the green. Stock price goes up. They save all the stores. Cool. But my guess is what's going to happen is going to be a buyout for the entire company, and then somebody's going to peel off Bye Bye Baby from it. Video brand, the Monkey Cam is so much more superior, better frames per second, better colors, less blur, sad. Well, this is the one that I originally got for myself. It's kind of grainy on my end. This is the one I got for myself, and the Elgato face cam is supposed to be the fancy HD cam, and then it crapped out and started being hazy and shutting off. So I made it the Monkey Cam and took the cheap Monkey Cam and put that on my end. But I don't have blurring or tracing on my side, so I don't know. If I put my hand over here, it does look pretty crisp over here, I'll be honest. I don't know. It is what it is. Cat, quit being weird. Common sense beats intelligence. It's not one thing the regulatory bodies overlook. It's everything to do with meme stocks. Yeah. Joseph DeSantis. Any thoughts on a share price of NoLabs once FDA device is approved for use? $1,000 a share? $2,000 a share? I mean, FDA, if it gets approved by FDA for use, it will be adopted by every single diabetic in America. So that's 30 million customers all having their insurance money pay $99 a month for the service of using that device. I think we ran the numbers before. We can always do it again. Turn off Google Earth. Got a calculator back. Okay. Calculator. So 30 million people, right? At $99 a month for 12 months a year. Just subscription fees, that's $35 billion a year in subscription fees. On top of whatever the cost of the actual device is, whether they're leasing the device, whether they buy the device, $200 a pop, whatever, 30 million people. You're looking at $35 to $40 billion a year, almost right off the bat. Every single solitary diabetic is going to want to adopt that device and use it because it beats having some hole poked in their body, reading their blood at all times. And it beats having to prick their fingers a couple times a day for test strips. So they'll gladly spend $99 for continuous monitor of their system. So $35 billion a year, where most of that's profit because it's a subscription service. It's looking at just crazy profit numbers. That's a $100 billion company. And right now it's like 87 million shares, right? So 87 million shares. And granted, they'll probably do an offering at some point. So maybe they'll be up to 100 million shares. Right now, 87 million shares. Oh, sorry. I'm going to do 100 billion. There. $100 billion company divided by 87 million shares. Right? You're looking at $1,100 a share. So let's say they do get to 100 million shares because they raised some more money to fund the factory to build all the initial devices. Neato. Then it's still $1,000 a share from where it is now. So, if they get FDA approval, they will be a juggernaut and will be a top performing, Fortune 100 company within a couple of years, probably. Yeah. Cat got just a little high. Now he's being so weird. Kitty. Dude. Quit being weird. Just chill out. Just chill out, you little freak. Okay. George, I'm gonna have access to live data for SI for Top Stock. No. Top's that one is one of those Chinese companies, right? That's like doing weird stuff because they didn't deliver all the shares. Yeah. Ron Johnson of My Spy Put, second by more NoLabs. At some point, the spy is gonna have to just die. At this point, June last year hit its low, it down to like 360 before bouncing back for no reason whatsoever. So maybe we'll get some June doldrums. We'll probably still ride a little high from the fact that they passed the debt ceiling by the skin of their teeth. I mean, Biden signed the law with 1 day left before we defaulted. So it's kind of close, guys. And for some reason, they didn't downgrade our credit rating, which, in 2011, they downgraded our credit rating with a week to go before we would default, and we passed it. So I don't know why they loved it this time around, but here we are. Cool. It's 11:30. I'm gonna turn to a pumpkin now. I have a lot more blackberries I gotta pick tomorrow. Destroy those plants. I say pick blackberries. Really destroy, murder blackberries. And I gotta chop up a tree in my yard that just calved and tried to kill me. So, I mean, there's just trees that fell off a maple. It's insane. It's huge. Gotta chainsaw that thing up. A lot of work. Cat, dog, everybody. Have a great night. I'm tired. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. What time on Wednesday? I have no idea. I'll probably be more late night shows as I've got more work to do. Wednesday, we're taking the catalytic converter off the Aurora, putting a new one on. Hopefully the ignition for the lawnmower will come. We can swap that out. I don't know. We'll see when we do it. But I'll see you guys then. Peace out. Wait, that didn't happen. Click. I clicked it. Click. Whoa.